Kia ora and welcome to Beer Club with me, Luke. Every week at Beer Jerk, we discover a new beer and we find out a little bit about the story behind it. So we've been going for well over 10 years now and we have never drank the same beer twice. And when I hear about a beer like this, I get very excited because there is a finite amount of beer styles and a finite amount of breweries here in New Zealand. And a lot of beers are kind of similar. A lot of breweries release lovely lagers and pale ales and IPAs. So much less so beers like this, which is an NZ Draught. Cheers. The beer is Petone Draught, and it is from Abandoned, who are a pretty unique operation. They definitely do things their own way. If you've been lucky enough to go to Beervana when they've had a stand there, you'll have seen that they definitely don't have the same approach to other brewers. They incredibly had a Chernobyl control desk that was fitted with chillers and beer taps at one Beervana. And another one, they fitted out a big bin, a big dumpster, and all the staff would dress like janitors in overalls and go around brooming and sweeping and mopping. So yeah, they definitely are very, very creative. Their trade emails are just mad. It's basically a photograph of a car with a weird private number plate every week, and then a little bit about the beer. So yeah, really, really unusual. They don't do things like anybody else, and they are all the better for it. So they have their anarchic branding and design that is really unique. You're not going to mistake one of their cans for what anybody else is. And occasionally they do labels that have cool photographs on them, which is really awesome. Really, just really great innovation. There was a mini trend a couple of years ago with a few breweries putting photographs on their beer labels. But yeah, it's not a thing that you see very often, and it is a really cool thing. I like to think about beer labels as canvases and this beautiful little bit of art that you can look at and enjoy while you're drinking your beer, a little bit like looking at a record cover while you listen to an album. So it's nice when breweries put some effort into, well, of course all breweries put effort into what the cans look like, but generally it's putting the effort into making something that's really appealing on the supermarket shelves, and it's going to really get the message across, rather than a thing which is more of a thing that's just beautiful or interesting. So there's a whole series of these teddy bear labels that they've got out at the moment, and I'm not sure how long they will continue, because I was just reading the Advertising Standards Authority complaint against this beer. So a complaint was put forward saying it had a teddy bear on it and it seemed to be very appealing to children, and the complaint seems like it was upheld. I'm not really sure what happens next. Maybe they're just not allowed to do labels with teddy bears in the future. Obviously, they haven't been withdrawn from sale. So yeah, I should chat to the guys at Abandoned and find out what the deal is with the ASA complaint. But yeah, obviously, a label like this is definitely going to cause little children to want to go out there and drink NZ Draught and also be able to buy it with very strict rules that we have for buying alcohol. So I'm not sure. And talking of a nanny state and strict rules and Abandoned kicking against the pricks, that brings us nicely to this style, which is an NZ Draught, which a lot of people think of NZ Draught and it goes hand in hand with prohibition is not the correct word, but the extreme limitations on drinking beer and alcohol in New Zealand that began in 1917 as a wartime measure to encourage productivity and abstinence and people being able to do a good job to support the war effort. And that actually stayed in place for a further 50 years. So the laws that we're talking about meant that you could only serve alcohol, you could only drink alcohol in bars until 6 p.m. So that was a period of our history in New Zealand known as the 6 o'clock swill, where blokes would finish work and sprint to the pub or the club and drink as much piss as they possibly could before 6 p.m. Before going home to their families. So obviously it very much encouraged very, very irresponsible, heavy binge drinking as people tried to, take a load off and relax after a hard day in the factory or doing whatever work it was they were doing. So yeah, it was 1967, I think that was the laws extended drinking hours to 10 p.m. here in New Zealand, and the beer connected to it was the NZ Draught, which is it's a unique beer style. It's a New Zealand beer style. It is a kind of lager. I suppose it's a cross between an English mild and a lager. So it's lagered, it's cold conditioned, it's made with a lager yeast, a bottle fermenting yeast, to give you a beer that's crisp, that's easy drinking, that's dry, that's smashable, a beer you can drink in volume. It's lower ABV, like a mild. It doesn't have the sweetness of a mild, but it has the biscuitiness, the nice malty profile to it. It's a pub beer. It's a beer designed to be drunk, in volume. Hopefully not drinking 20 pints between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. But yeah, it is 3.9% and Petone Draught. So named for their home and their tap room, which is in Petone, where you can go and drink it. It's the perfect environment to be drinking it. And talking of environments, if you've ever been to an RSA or a Return Servicemen's Club or any kind of cosmopolitan club or working club in New Zealand, you've seen those tables, which are the square metal and wood tables that have a shelf underneath, and they were designed for the 6 o'clock spill era. So you'd go up to the bar and you'd buy 2 or 3 jugs, and of course there isn't room for all these fucking jugs on the table. So you'd have your second deck underneath. So yeah, this sort of nanny state culture encouraged so much creativity, even down to furniture design, which is something that you see in more traditional sort of pubs and clubs around New Zealand still. And on innovation, the great mind that was Morton Coates, who was at DB Dominion Breweries, who are really the name that are attached to the style of NZ Draught. He invented a whole new process of brewing, which was a continuous fermentation. So such gigantic volumes of this style of beer were being made that it made sense to work out ways that you could increase efficiencies and really get the most out of your kit, out of your plant, to make as much beer as possible. And beer and lagers like this need to be cold conditioned, need to be stored lagered in tanks for a longer period of time to get that clean, crisp profile that we're enjoying here. But it's a lot of transfer. You've got it in your you brew it in your mash tun, and then you transfer to your fermenter, and you've got your cold conditioning tanks. So the continuous fermentation meant that it was fermenting as part of this whole process, and it was actually taken on by Guinness, who they don't use that technique to brew their beers now and ferment their beers, but up until the late 60s, I think, they were using that. So it definitely is one of the greatest brewing innovations we've seen in the history of New Zealand brewing. And yeah, really that number 8 wire mentality of creativity when you have some problems in front of you. So even now at the Brewers Guild Awards each year, they have the Morton Coates Trophy for Innovation, which is one of the best parts of the awards. Just the great innovations that happen every year. It's rare that it's something as impressive as inventing continuous fermentation, but still pretty great. And NZ Draught, as I mentioned, so Dominion Breweries DB Draught is maybe the originator in around 1950 or thereabouts. But of course, all these big bottle beers are NZ Draught. So your Tui, your Spates, your Lion, DB, all these kind of what we think of as old-fashioned beers in those big brown bots are this style of NZ Draught, which, I mean, it's surprising in a way that more craft brewers haven't done their own versions of it. The only one I can really think of is Fork and Brewer in Wellington that did their. I think it was Griffin, their NZ Draught. Maybe it had another name. Maybe Griffin was a different beer. But Kainui, they sometimes have a draft on, but obviously their beers don't get around the country much. The same as Forks, and it is the perfect pub beer, the perfect taproom beer. I suppose more modern golden lagers took their place. But yeah, drinking this, it's dry. It finishes, and you want to drink some more. It's a beer to accompany, conversation, and yeah, definitely working class after work drinks. Similar to the culture around mild in England. It's a cool style. So yeah, I'm sure this is super popular at the tap room in Petone, and maybe we'll see. We're not going to see more brewers doing NZ Draught. It's just that Abandoned are fucking weird, and that is really, really cool that they've put it out there. They've they release beer styles that other people are too worried about or wouldn't see as being worthwhile. And I suppose part of it is when you're a craft brewery that generally brewers are trying to squeeze as much flavor and character and interest into the beers, and hops, the proliferation of IPAs and pale ales. So to create a beer which is very easy drinking, very dry, and yeah, just like a maxed up, really delicious version of TB Draught, probably doesn't cross many people's minds unless you have a bit of a different way of thinking, which obviously the guys at Abandoned do. So cheers to Abandoned. Keep doing your own thing. I look forward to finding out what's happened with the ASA complaint, and excited to come and drink some beers with you in Petone at some point soon. It's been way too long since I've been down to that part of the country. Yeah, really cool beer. Fantastic. Other things that are happening. If you got a premium advent calendar last year, then you would have spotted an email pop up in your inbox this morning saying that the 2025 premium advent calendars are now available for pre-sale. So they are always limited batches due to the nature of the beers in them. A lot of them are limited one-off brews. So we do have a limited finite amount of them, but you can find them now on the BJet website. The premium advent calendar is a really good time. It's kind of like this, but it's every single day throughout December, and we get some really, really special beers in there, including some that are brewed specially for it. And each day is accompanied by a drink-along video with me and various special guests. Other things happening here at the Small Gods Tap Room on Saturday, we're having a party. So party throughout the afternoon. We've got Neapolitan pizzas being served up by our friend Dan, and we've got 4 different DJs that are going to be playing throughout the afternoon. And then that's rolling into a party in the evening. We've got 3, maybe 4 bands that are going to be playing for about 6 o'clock as well. And it's a totally free event. Anyone come along. And there's a really good like blues rockabilly band. There's a brilliant Beatles cover band. I hesitate to say cover because they're like reimagined Beatles songs. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun afternoon, evening. Hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Cheers.